Okay, we're going to talk oils for pets. The pink elephant in the room. That's what we're going to talk about. So, all right. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Allie Phillips, and I'm in Lansing, Michigan. So Michiganders show the hand, and this is where I am. We always point. So that's where I am. This is Rudy. He is one of my chief feline officers, and as a CFO, he is here to oversee my work always. He's kind of a stalker, but he is an oily cat. So hopefully he sticks around so that I can do some demos with him. See, look at him. He's settling in. He's like, okay, we've got a class. I got to settle in. So, alrighty. So I always put this up here that what I'm going to talk about is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. What I am going to do is talk about what I do based on my knowledge and my expertise. But the one thing that I always say to people is that you need to know why you're using an oil and for what reason before you use it on yourself or on a pet. You need to know why. So if you think about it and think about why you would use DiGize, then you know what to use with animals because there is a lot of crossover. So let me tell you a little bit about me and why this is my specialty. So I have been an attorney for 27 years, specializing in criminal prosecution. So I was a criminal prosecutor here in Michigan for many years, and then moved to Washington, D.C. for 12 years and worked nationally for 2 different national organizations. And at that level, I started teaching prosecutors, law enforcement. My specialty was animal abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, and how they all link together. So now you know why I use oils, because those are not fun topics. So I am actually internationally recognized for my legal work and how animal abuse links to family violence. As a result of all of that work, which I still do, I do that work, that teaching, through a nonprofit that I created and founded called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, where I help domestic violence shelters build on-site pet kennels. And I've got about 300 shelters in 5 countries and 45 states. So that is something I do with my legal specialty. And I am also the owner of Manifested Harmony, which is my health and wellness business, of which my Young Living is incorporated into. And I started that business 11 years ago, which is shocking to me because most health and wellness companies that are like solo owned, they don't survive. So thank you, Young Living. But I am also a book author. I have written a lot of animal protection books. You can find a couple on Amazon. I've written over 50 legal publications, a lot of dry, boring constitutional law topics, which I get all geeky about. I love that stuff. And I have been a long-time animal shelter volunteer and advocate. I have been volunteering in animal shelters for over 20 years. I foster cats. And I also do a lot of energy therapy work, and I teach those classes too. But one thing that was really amazing, on 3 occasions, Young Living Corporate invited me on their stage to talk about oils for pets. So this was me at the Mona, Utah farm on a very, very chilly day where we're outside teaching in April in Utah, very cold. Because even within the essential oil for pet expertise that I have, my niche is abused and neglected animals and shelter pets and those who adopt them, and the behavioral issues and the trauma that can come with that. So, you know, I really hope Young Living brings back that conference because it was always very well attended. I mean, I'm talking 800 people, very well attended for an animal oil conference. So, alrighty, so that is a little bit about my bizarre left brain, right brain, multi-careers that I have going on here, which creates a lot of interesting brain conversations for me. But if if you are really interested in knowing a lot more about oils for pets, I have a book. Okay, if you put in the coupon code Zoom, you'll get 10% off just by being here. And it's going to go through a lot of the foundational stuff that I'm not going to cover tonight. I'm going to cover stuff that's not in the book tonight. But it's going to go through, you know, toxins in the home, toxic emotions in the home and how that can hurt pets, toxic toys. You'd be stunned at how toxic pet toys are, and toxic food. And I go through application techniques and all this other stuff. So it's a real easy to read book. It's just, I get to the point, which is shocking as an attorney for me to get to the point. But I get to the point in this book, and I wrote it so that you can teach a class from it. So I also wrote a book called The Oily Crystal, because that's become a hot topic in blending, and I'm seeing a lot of unsafe practices. I'm also an advanced crystal master. I was trained by a science teacher, so I come at it from the science. So anyway, coupon code Zoom as a thank you for being here. So, all right, here are my oily cats, Stella, Rudy, and Dobby. Here's who I have right now. And, you know, I specialize in this. This is the primary reason I got into Young Living, was because of my work with abused and neglected and shelter pets. And I needed yet another tool in my toolbox. And when I started, you know, I had this epiphany, oh, I need to use essential oils for pets in my toolbox. And I started seeing all this scary information online. Hint, don't ever Google essential oils in pets. It will put you into therapy. It is shocking what is out there. Don't do it. Don't rely on any other books other than Young Living specific books when it comes to oils and pets. Our oils are different, which I'm going to talk about. But I really started honing in on this because I couldn't understand, why can't we use lavender with cats? I mean, I got a lavender bush outside. The neighbor cat comes over, rolls around in it and eats it and isn't dead. I'm sorry, there's something very, very wrong with this industry if the oils are toxic, but the plant is okay. And so I have literally spent my entire 9+ years in Young Living deep diving into this topic. And I basically put my class, how I teach, in the Oily Pet book, which is why you can pick it up and literally read it to a class. It's just, I wanted to make it really super easy. You know, and I wrote it because there's a lot of information out there on social media about the danger of oils for pets. There are animal care professionals making broad statements about essential oils that sweep in Young Living oils with all the other adulterated, icky brands that are out there. I mean, there are people citing to studies about essential oils in pets, yet the studies never mention the brand that they worked with. So we can't use those studies. You know, and I've always been team Young Living. I don't hoard information. I want to share it. I want to help other oilers identify whether they're using a safe oil brand or not. You know, I'm part of a small group. They're mainly veterinarians and then the lawyer. It's really bizarre. But we all want Young Living to remain #1 in oils for pets, and for Young Living members to become proficient in oils for animals, so that we continue to be the go-to company for essential oils for pets. And so in the Oily Pet book, I actually do not mention Young Living by name because I'm an attorney and I understand trademark. So I don't name them and I don't talk about blends. But when you read the book and I give you the safe oil test for pets, you will know. You will know I'm talking about Young Living. You know, and now more than ever, we need to share what we know because, you know, a lot of people are working from home and pets really take on the emotional baggage of their people. And there's a lot of stressed out pets. So anyway, my cats have really taught me everything that I know about oils for pets. So I want to go through some of the main questions that I get. This is not in the Oily Pet book. I want to get some to help you understand why me as an attorney of 27 years, ditched 15 years of essential oil products that I bought in the stores that, you know, the cheaper, the better. Why I ditched them all for Young Living. Why do I only recommend Young Living when it comes to pets? Well, in the Oily Pet book, I actually give you a test, but here's a big thing, and this is coming from a lawyer's brain. Young Living promotes their oils for pets on their website and in their blog. Young Living was the first company to do this and has consistently promoted their oils for pets. Gary Young loved animals. He was a horse guy. He was absolutely a horse guy. If any of you watched his funeral, he was in a horse-drawn carriage, his casket. He loved his horses. Everything that he built, every product that he built was to be used by humans and animals. And that is one beautiful nugget of information he shared with me at the Animal Oil Conference. Okay, so you can rest assured our products are safe for pets. And but that's a big thing as an attorney. If a company isn't promoting a product to be used in a certain way, why would you use it that way? So when I go onto all the other essential oil company websites, in the search bar, you can put in the word pet, you can put in the word animal, you're not going to find anything. It's like using Metamucil, a fiber supplement. Would you use that with a newborn baby that's constipated? Nope. Because they don't recommend it. It's not on their website. It's not for newborns. And a lot of people have gotten out of that way of thinking. So you really have to look to, does the company actually talk about using their oils with pets? Because then they have your back legally. They have your back. If you use an oil from another company and something wrong happens, that company's going to say, where on our website did you even see us talk about pets? We didn't. That liability is on you. Okay, so this is me talking like a lawyer. I don't want the liability, but Young Living has my back. The other reason that I only recommend Young Living is seed to seal. Okay, this is not just a phrase. This is not a phrase at all. This is precisely what makes our oils and our products safe for animals, including cats. It's because we grow properly. No chemicals. Did you know that they have goats are out in some of the farms, in the farm in France and the farm in Utah? I just learned that. They use, not goats, sheep, for pulling weeds. So we grow properly, we harvest properly, we fully distill. This is something that a lot of people may not know. We fully distill, which means we are putting, let's say lavender, we're putting it in the crock for the right amount of time. Because when we can get all the parts and pieces out, all the constituents out, it allows the oil to balance all the constituents together. Because an essential oil will self-regulate if all the parts and pieces, if all the constituents are there. And that's what allows us to use citrus oils and tea tree and be safe about it. Whereas other brands will absolutely harm or even kill a cat. So it's because of how we distill, and we don't second distill. We distill the right way. We get all the parts and pieces, and then that oil self-regulates for safety. So one thing that people come to me about all the time is, well, tea tree isn't safe for cat. I even get Young Living diamonds saying to me, well, tea tree oil is toxic to cats. Have you looked at the ingredients of the Animal Sense ointment? There's tea tree in it. And I asked Gary about this. And he was so funny. He said, Allie, do you think another essential oil company that shall remain nameless would be silent in the media if there were dead animals all over the place because of our tea tree oil, do you really think that they would be quiet about it? He had a wicked sense of humor. And I'm like, oh, Gary, no. They would not be quiet. He's like, our tea tree is safe because of seed to seal. And that's why. And it's hard for a lot of people to understand. It's hard for a lot of young living people to understand. So the other thing is when I look at the labels on other oil bottles, I actually collect other oil company bottles just so that I can look at the labels and really educate about them. And when I look at labels that say organic, like an organic lemon oil, this is one I have in my stock, but on the label it says not for ingesting. If you cannot drink an organic lemon oil, they are telling you that something else is in the bottle. And under federal labeling laws, which yes, I read as an attorney, they do not have to tell you what else is in the bottle. They do not have to tell you how they grew it, how they distilled it, and how they adulterated it. They don't have to tell you if there is a carrier oil in the bottle or if there are multiple species of lemon oil in the bottle. They don't have to tell you if they cut it with a solvent or an alcohol, and they can still call it organic lemon. But when an organic lemon label says do not ingest, red flags should go up. And these are the oils that cannot be anywhere around pets, not even distilled. Not even distilled. So if the company doesn't mention pets on their website at all, and if there are all these scary labels, especially about ingestible oils, they shouldn't be used around pets at all, period. Period. The organic label means nothing in the essential oil world because essential oils are governed under the cosmetics, federal labeling laws, and the word organic and pure actually have no definition under the cosmetics law. Organic solely relates to farm animals and produce. So organic chicken and organic tomatoes. So when you see organic on makeup and essential oils, it's just a label and it's allowed. It's allowed. So these are all the reasons why I only recommend Young Living. Okay. Second question I get is, will essential oils kill my cats? Okay, well, I have been oiling up my cats for 9 years and they're fine. They're fine. Here's the thing. Here's why people are nervous. Cats are deficient in the cytochrome P450 liver metabolism pathway enzyme. And that's what helps the liver to metabolize and excrete compounds like medications and toxins and essential oils. They are not missing the pathway and the enzyme. They are just deficient in it compared to humans and dogs. So this is unique to cats because cats just have to be super unique. They've just got to be really different. And it's why people are nervous to use oils with cats. Shockingly, veterinarians are unskilled in this area, unskilled. And they just make blanket statements that you cannot use essential oils with pets. You may even walk into a vet clinic and see a poster from a national animal organization that says, these are all the toxic things for pets, including essential oils. They are unskilled and uneducated in essential oils. Okay. So now, so a lot of people think that cats cannot excrete essential oils out of their body. But there's an interesting study that came out in 2017 that showed that cats excrete essential oils differently than dogs and humans. They actually excrete and eliminate essential oils the same way that plants do. Plants excrete essential oils and eliminate the essential oils out of their system. It's a natural thing that they do. Cats do it in a similar pathway. What it means is slower elimination that can result in buildup if you're using too many oils with your cat. You know, we give our cats medication and they can pass that through the liver. Our cats are surrounded by toxins and those pass through the liver. And even some of the horrific essential oil brands out there are not killing cats in mass quantities. They're not. all it takes is for one scary story to make the rounds on Facebook and people start freaking out and making blanket statements. And there are sad stories floating around, but be careful about jumping in with a response, and never guilt them about, well, you should have used Young Living. And I see that response a lot, and it's not a good look for us. Here's what I tell people, because I get tagged in these literally every day. I get tagged in these, and I tend to not respond to them. Number one, we don't even know if the story is true. Number two, we don't know the prior health of the pet. Okay, this could have been a 15-year-old dog that has such toxic buildup that just smelling an essential oil was the final thing. We don't know what toxins are used in the home. Are they using candles and plugins and sprays and aerosols and all the nasty, Febreze and all of that stuff? We don't know. We don't even know what brand of essential oil was used. They never say. They never say. I find that interesting. And we don't know how they use the oil. They never say. And so I always think in my mind, okay, this story or this graphic that I'm seeing could have been created by, a 7-year-old child in another country that's sitting behind a computer and is bored and just puts it out there. We don't know. Like, whenever I create a post or a graphic, my information is embedded in it. You can trace it right back to me. I stand by what I put out there. These graphics have no author ownership, so I'm very suspicious of them. So, a lot of this is common sense, and I'm just finding that too many people think that they can use their store-bought TJ Maxx essential oils like we use them in Young Living, and they cannot. They cannot. It's why I give a test in the Oily Pet. In the Oily Pet, because it is brand neutral, you can hand it to anybody and they're not going to think that you're just coming off with a sales pitch. And I find that it's more received, especially if you're handing it to a veterinarian or an animal professional and just say, here, read this, and they can read through the test. They can come to their own conclusion. But we've got to be very vocal, and we need to educate, because people don't know what they don't know. So rule of thumb with cats is start slow. Less is more. Okay. If it's strong to you when you're diffusing, it's really strong to them. I had one of my newer brand partners come to me, and she said, is 25 drops of Peace and Calming too much in the Desert Mist diffuser? Oh my gosh. I'm like, bless your sweetheart. Yeah, too much. Because she's like, my dog ran out of the house all panicked. Yeah, I personally would run out of the house all panicked. So people don't know what they don't know. I mean, seriously, 4 drops in like the Desert Mist, or, I love Feather the Owl. That's my favorite diffuser. 4 drops is fine. Just make sure that your pets have a place to go in your home where there is no diffuser, okay, until they get used to it. These guys right here, they're so used to oils, they gravitate around the oil diffuser. In fact, it's Rudy on the cover of the Oily Pet with his face over the area, like he's vaping Peace and Calming. I mean, it's just, he does that every day. It's so funny. And then when you're talking about smaller pets like cats and dogs under 25 pounds, dilute with an organic carrier oil or with the V6 oil. You're going to want to use anywhere from 5 to 8 drops of the carrier oil to 1 drop of the essential oil. And it's because the carrier oil is like a time release. Okay, it's just slowing the absorption. It's not diluting the potency. So it's slowing it down because cats excrete slowly. So slowly in, slowly out. Okay, same thing goes for dogs for under 25 pounds. So this is a big question that I get a lot, and I constantly have this conversation when I'm at events, and it surprises me how many Young Living people are afraid to use our oils with pets. And they ask me specifically, what oils can I use? And I'm like, you can use any oil you want. Now, do you need to topically apply Mountain Savory or Sage? to your cat or dog? No. No, what, those are hot oils. Whatever you're using the oil for, you can find a softer alternative. Okay. But I don't hold back diffusing thieves and citrus oils. And I diffuse citrus oils every day, and their liver values get better and better every year. Okay. So that's another rule of thumb. If you're nervous, get the liver values on your pets tested, and then just test every year, and you might be surprised at how they get better instead of worse with time. All right, third question I get is, okay, my pet is sick, my pet has XYZ disease, what oils can I use? Okay, well, first of all, we don't diagnose or treat with oils. Not even a veterinarian in Young Living can do that. We can't, because we don't want FDA regulation of the essential oils. Okay. What I do is I let people know, just like with ourselves, our products are amazing. One oil is not going to radically change your life. It's not. It takes, a repertoire of what you need. Same thing with your pets. So in the Oily Pet book, we need to talk about food first. Okay, it needs to be good food. And then we got to get the toxins out of your home, and then we can start talking oils. But for me, I talk to people about how to promote the health of their pet. Let's not wait for disease to set in. Let's be proactive. Same thing for, you and me. Let's not wait for a problem, because once a problem happens, you're asking a whole lot of the oils to undo it. You're asking a lot. So let's be proactive in keeping pets healthy. And, like I said, when you're keeping pets healthy, start with diet, start with household toxins, start with quality of life, and then you start adding in the oils. Okay. So like I said before, look to the oils that you use and why you use them. And that'll tell you how you use them with pets. Today, I was helping a cat that has pretty extreme constipation. What's the oil that we use in Young Living that smells like a sweaty camel's underarm? Digize. Smells heinous, but boy, does it work. So when people message me this, I don't answer their questions, because I don't want the legal liability. And Young Living will not have my back. So when people come to you and say, my dog has cancer, what do I do? All you can do is slide over the animal desk reference and say, you might want to turn to pages 438 and 439 of the book. You can read all you want. So getting the materials out to people. And I think you can still find the animal desk reference on Amazon. I think it's still there. All right, next question I get are, and I am not looking at the chat right now. I will come back to that. All right, next question I get are, what oils are safe to use with pets? I get this all the time. And when it comes to Young Living, they are all safe. Okay? Just be gentle with the high phenol oils. Okay, these are the oils that really smell. That's what a high phenol oil is. It just really, really, really smells. So your oreganos, your cloves, your cassia, your thyme. So here's the thing. I give raindrop technique to pets all the time, including cats. That's got some major hot oils in it. I mean, oregano, basil, thyme, marjoram, wintergreen. Oh my gosh. It's my go-to when I don't have a solution. I always say to people, you got nothing to lose, raindrop. Okay. Just be gentle. You have to go very high dilution rates. So about 9 drops of a carrier oil to 1 drop of the essential oil. Same thing with pine oil, same thing with citrus oils. This is for topical application. Okay. For diffusing, you can diffuse what you want. Just remember, if it's strong to you, it's really strong to them. Okay. And for internal, never put oils in their water bowl, ever, 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 because it'll deter them. Okay, so I never have any hesitation in using any oil because they're safe. All right, Next question I get is, how do I use oils with my pet? Well, how do you use them on you? Same thing. Okay, aromatically, get your diffuser going. Make sure that they have a place to go if they don't like the scent, because they are like us. I mean, there are certain oils that repel me. Emu Power, oh my gosh, that is just I'm smelling it now, like I'm having a flashback. That is just absolutely the worst smelling oil, and it is the one oil that I need the most, and I can't do it. I just can't go there. I've tried for 9 years. I can't do it. They are the same way, okay? They're going to like certain oils and they're not going to like certain oils. So if they go to a different part of the room, you are not killing them. They're just telling you, hey, I don't like that Emu Power tea tree ylang-ylang blend that you put together. That just sounds outrageously gross, what I just came up with. That's horrible. Please do not diffuse that. So give them space. You can diffuse in the car. Young Living has that awesome car diffuser. I diffuse in the car all the time when I'm traveling with these guys because they sing at the top of their lungs. So I play some Barry Manilow music and I diffuse peace and calming, and everybody is happy, and we're having a weekend in New England. It's amazing. So you can diffuse in the car. They can inhale from the bottle. Hey, Rudy, don't go anywhere. Look at him. He goes right up to it. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a second, how they choose. So they can inhale right from the bottle, and this is how I get consent, because you never force an oil on an animal without their consent. I mean, think about the times that you walked through the department store and the perfume lady came up to you and spritzed you, and you're like, I don't like that smell. We don't do that to pets. We don't come at them with oils without their consent. I will talk about that in a second. On surfaces, you can put oils on toys, on blankets, on, the crate, if you're crating your dog, on like one bar of the crate door, or on a carrier, a travel carrier. Never on collars, because they can't get away from it. Okay, they can't get away from it. Topical. Dilution rates, I have more of that in the Oily Pet book, but the rule of thumb is under 25 pounds, you're going to use an organic carrier oil, or the V6 oil for topical application. And the application is down the spine, because you all probably know that 1 drop of an essential oil on our body saturates our cells 40,000 times over. 1 drop. So you could put a drop right here on your cheek, and then you're going to feel your big toe tingling. Or you're going to do the reverse. Put peppermint on the bottom of your big toe. Give yourself about 30 seconds, and you're either going to taste it or you're going to feel the coolness in your eyes, because it travels the body. With pets, you do not have to get the oil on the body part that needs it, because it's going to travel. Never on the paws. Animals detox out through the paws. So if you put an oil in, you're shoving the toxins back in. Okay, and they just don't like it. Never around the face, because they have a heightened sense of smell. Never on the ears. They don't like that. They don't like it. But always down the spine. Super easy. Super easy. I put oils on my palm. My cats run by. They just got an application. Super easy. Okay. And then internally, like I said, never in a bowl of water. You don't want to deter any pet away from water, but you can put it in their food. My cats get Red in their food every day. Every day. In fact, 4 years ago today, this little guy sitting behind me had emergency surgery for bladder stones and a major blockage that almost killed him. Since I brought him home, he is not on the prescription food, which is really not a good quality. It has really bad ingredients. I am using a special refrigerated food at the pet store. I put a lot of water in it, and I put Red in it, and that has held him for 4 years. It freaks out his veterinarian because she doesn't understand it. But it's really held him. Red is totally safe. Totally safe, okay? Every pet should have it. All right. I want to show you some videos and some real examples coming up. So this is an example of getting consent. Okay, so this is my baby Jacob. He actually passed away 5 years ago. Rudy's best friend, but he gave such a great video to show consent. All right, here we go. Now watch his eyes and his nose. You see how he came to it? I'm about a foot away. I go halfway, he's got to come the other way. See his nose? That was consent. He came to it. Animals can smell the oils before we even open the bottle. Okay, here's helichrysum. I'm about a foot away. You see his eyes and his nose? He is not coming to it. So no helichrysum. It was too strong. It was too strong for him. You could see it in his eyes, and he just wasn't coming to it. A lot of pets would get up and walk away. If they come to the oil, they have given you consent. And sometimes all they need is that one sniff. All right. Oh, hold on real quick. I have to activate the audio here. Hold on, to share sound, because I have a couple coming up that have sound in them. All right, that should work. All right. This one does not have sound. So I'm doing a test with Rudy of Copaiba and Eucalyptus radiata. He didn't come to it. Isn't that interesting? Because eucalyptus is so strong, so strong. But he was actually having some allergy issues that day. Isn't that interesting? Because now, today, he's already gone to Copaiba twice. Rudy, do you like Copaiba? He's like, I'm done smelling Copaiba. But he already went to it twice today. So that's what you want to do. You want to get consent. So I like to put out like 2 or 3 bottles, and you can line them up and see what they go to, or you can do this one at a time. Just don't put it in their face. Do it like about 12 inches away. All right. Y'all going to get the recording to this, okay? You can screenshot it, but you're going to get the recording. These are the oils that I go to. There are blends in here. You're not going to find blends in the Oily Pet for trademark reasons. I will tell you, for calming pets, this is a big issue right now. Almost every dog I work with has major anxiety issues. So do their people. So we live in a nerve-wracking world. Melissa, as pricey as it is worth every penny. It is the oil for highly sensitive people and pets. So for the dog that is already at the front window, going crazy, clawing it and barking, because 5 doors down, the FedEx guy is coming. Melissa. That dog is so highly sensitive, they know everything that's going on. They know about that bird that's giving them a stink eye from the tree, and they're like, oh my gosh. Melissa is the oil. Peace and Calming is a good backup. On the other hand, so that's one form of anxiety. A second form of anxiety is for pets that just need confidence. So the little dog that goes to the dog park and immediately goes after the Great Dane, because that little dog is thinking, I need to get you before you get me, and I'm just going to bark and yap, and I'm going to go after your ankles so hard. That dog just needs confidence. The little dog just needs confidence, and that's valor. So when people come to me with anxious dogs, I ask them, is your pet going after the FedEx guy 5 doors down, or going after the big dog on the playground? Because that's two different oils, that's two different energies. So I try to get the owners in their pet's brain to answer questions for me. And then, I mean, you look at these oils on the screen, it's what you would use the oils for, right? This is how you would use them. For brushing teeth, dogs are so much better at having their teeth brushed. Cats, not so much. But if you take like a cap full of Thieves mouthwash and put it in like a half a cup of like the hard coconut oil, mix it all up, and then you just dip. I usually just dip my finger in and just shove it in their mouth. I just got to get it on their gums and it's going to do the job. It's not really brushing, but that is an amazing, amazing thing for oral health for pets. And then I love oils in the litter box. Okay. It's such an easy thing to do, to put purification in baking soda and toss it in a fresh litter box. And I do a lot with senior pets. I actually have a senior pet. I have a 14-year-old. And Copaiba frankincense blend down the spine every day is your proactive tool to use, along with Ningxia Red, along with Agiles broken and sprinkled in the food. So when you look at the Agiles dose for an adult human, usually it's about a 150-pound human they're basing it off of. Take that weight, break it down to the pet's weight, and you know what to use. So for me, I have a cat, Stella. She's just a tad overweight. We are actually in a weight reduction program at this time. And it takes her a week to go through one of the Agiles capsules. So I just break it open and I sprinkle a little bit every day because I want her joints and her tiny, tiny little legs on her chubby body to hold up. Okay, so those are kind of my favorite things to do. All right, I want to, this is my blend during fireworks season. I don't know if this happens to you, but here in Michigan, because we are cold 6 months out of the year, we're still cold right now. It was like 30 degrees today. Once it gets warm, everybody shoots off fireworks in Michigan from like Memorial Day until Labor Day. It is crazy. This is the blend. And you can put this in a roller bottle. But the thing about behavior in pets, they need to smell the oils. Topical application isn't going to do anything. They need to smell the oils. So you can take this, pre-blend it, and then put it in your diffuser, or you can rub it on your hands and let them smell it. Okay, but this is like the ultimate calming blend that I always recommend for fireworks season. Or travel. You're taking your pet on travel or to the vet office. This is very calming. All right, I want to show you some videos and then I will take some questions. As you can see, I can talk about this forever. But I want to show you some really funny videos here. Okay. You want to smell? You've been very agitated. You've been very agitated. Well, that seems to be working better than the peace and calming. Mm-hmm. You're okay. There was about 1 minute from that first video where he was coming at me and growling to when he calmed down. 1 minute. He needed to smell it. Okay, so when you have an agitated pet, it is never about topical application. They need to smell it. And I take the oil and I use it like a diffuser and I just wave it. I go up and down the shelter rows and I'm just waving oils back and forth and they all come up to smell. So you can just use your oil bottle as a diffuser. All right, this is a dog that I worked with who was being rescued, flown with 130 dogs out of the Bahamas before Hurricane Dorian hit. They evacuated the shelter, flew them all to the mainland, which is us. And a bunch of the dogs came up here to Michigan, including Bahama Bessie, as we called her. And for 4 days, she sat in her kennel, shook violently, didn't sleep, couldn't keep any food down, and they thought she was going to die. And they called me in. It's like, why did you wait until day 4? Why didn't you call me on day 1 and say, hey, we just got a bunch of dogs who came out of an emergency hurricane evacuation and flew them? That's when we need the oils, not when they're on death's door. So the before photo, I don't know if you know dog behavior, but the look in her eyes, she was concerned. I mean, this dog was just ramped up. And I was able to get Digis on her to help with her major digestive issues. I got peace and calming and valor on her, and then I was just laying my hands in front of her so that she could smell them. And after about 5 minutes, she laid down. She slept for the first time in 5 days, and we couldn't wake her, to the point where the behaviorist said, Allie, I think you killed her. I didn't kill her. She's got five days of sleep to catch up on. She probably would not have made it to the next day. And they let her stay there. I said, let her stay here in the behavioral room. Just let her stay here overnight, put some food, she'll be fine. The next day, she was totally fine, kept her food down, and she got adopted within a few days. So this is where the oils are saving lives, absolutely saving lives. I've done the same thing with dogs coming out of puppy mills, dog fighting situations, hoarding cats. I can use a bottle of peace and calming to determine if a hoarding cat is truly feral or just terrified. And it saves lives. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, what do we got here?
This is Dino. He's 12 years old and he's very scared. So I'm going to take a little bit of valor. I'm just going to put a little bit on his blanket. Oh, I can smell it. Honey. Oh, his nose is moving. He can smell it. Hi, Dino. Look at his nose go. Honey, you're okay. You're okay.
So Dino hid under a blanket for 6 weeks. I worked with him for about a month. He eventually came out from under the blanket, and he came home from me. He's now my cat Dobby. So you'll find him on social media. He's the most interactive, engaged, friendly cat. He's not what you see on the screen, but he needed Valor to bring him out. So that's Valor is for animals that need confidence and are scared. Okay, I also work with donkeys. So this is Happy. He is the largest donkey I have ever seen, and he is full of personality, aren't you? What do you think about the oils? Look at him. You are awesome. What do you think? He's like, bring me another. Look at No, you're not gonna. Honey, I know you want to eat it. Why don't you just smell? Happy's like, that's my oil. Look at no. So I teach classes and go do work at a donkey rescue here in the area, and they have usually about 80 rescue donkeys that come from the most horrible situations. So I was using the acceptance oil so that they could just let go of the past, just accept what has happened and that they're in a good place. So acceptance is one of the big oils that I use with rescues. So, and they love it. They just love it. Okay, I'm putting up this warning. The next photo is going to be really difficult to see. This was one of my foster cats. She has healed, and I will show you the photo. So please, I don't want to offend anybody, so that's why I put this warning up. But I'm going to show you a video because the oils absolutely saved this cat's life. Okay, this is Marnie. She was burned. It was not intentional as far as we know. We think she just got into an engine and got burned. That poor cat, oh my gosh, I can't believe that the shelter even, had the wherewithal to work with her. This was an intense project. I had her, they called me, I took her into foster care for 3 months. It was intensive veterinary care along with the oils. Okay, so I want to show you a video. This is day 9 of foster care. I have diluted myrrh and helichrysum in almond oil, which is very nourishing for the skin. And I'm just dripping it down her spine. Yep, I know. Don't bump me with your head. Oh, don't do that, honey. You're going to rub everything off. And you're probably wondering why I did myrrh and helichrysum. And compliantly, I'm not allowed to say. You can just look it up. But think of, no, don't do that. Think of what she's dealing with. It'll give you an idea of why I'm using that. No, don't do that. Seriously, all I do is say no to her. Because she just wants to rub her head. I'm sure it itches. Honey. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. I know you want so much love. Yeah, don't bonk me with your head. But you look so much better. I am also using the Lavaderm spray because it's specific for burns. And I'm doing very small amounts. Very small. And not really on the, no, don't do that. Don't lay it, sit. I'm kind of picking certain areas and testing them out. She's probably going to lose the tips of both of her ears. So I'm just doing one little small area as a test. And after being in foster care for a week and going back to the shelter for her treatment, where they take the scabs off and stuff like that, they are amazed at how well she's healing. So this is a combination of veterinary medicine and essential oils. So the photo on the left is after 3 months. One of my friends, one of my brand partners in my team adopted her. And you can see the hair is growing back. She did lose the very tips of her ears. We actually thought she was going to lose all of her ears, but she didn't. She just lost the little tips. The photo on the left, I went and had a Christmas gift exchange with her. And so Marnie was sitting in a Christmas wreath with her catnip toy. How appropriate. But look at her. I mean, isn't that amazing? Even the shelter, they kept telling me, don't do anything else. Oh, well, clearly you don't know me, because I'm going to. I don't care what you say. But they were stunned at how well and how fast she healed. And she does have a little bit of scarring, but the fact that her hair grew back and she kept her ears, we can thank the oils for that. All right, so what do I do for my cats? My cats get Ningxia Red 3 to 5 times a week. They get frankincense copaiba down their spine, and they get frankincense helichrysum down their spine. Stella, who's in the photo, she's my little roly-poly cat. She gets Agiles, 1 capsule a week. That's their maintenance. That's their proactive program that I have them on. Because Rudy is, oh my gosh, Rudy's going to be 10 this summer. Stella's going to be 6. Dobby is going to be 14. So I don't wait for them to age. I start working proactively. All right. So again, if you want to get the oily pet, there's even more detail in there. Use coupon code Zoom. You're going to get a discount. And then just stay connected, because I'm sharing lots of oily stuff on social media. Okay. So I know that was long, but does anybody, I haven't been looking at the chat. Let me go back and see if I can see if you had any questions. Did you guys get the information that you needed?
Thank you so much, Allie. Actually, somebody messaged me and she had to hop off.
Okay.
And she had a question, and it said, my cat is pooping outside of the cat pan, and we've changed it in the home. We've tried emotional oils, calming, petting, slowing changes, and still nothing is getting it better. So I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for that.
Number 1, make sure the litter box does not have a hood on it.
Okay.
That's a no-no with cats. I actually take, those big Rubbermaid containers?
Yeah.
I take the lid off, I cut an opening, and it's really good for male cats who like to squirt straight. It's perfect. Okay. It's absolutely perfect. So make sure no lid, unscented litter box, unscented litter. Yep. That it's in a low traffic area, like they need privacy.
Okay.
It can't be in a difficult to reach area. I know a lot of people will put a litter box in a basement. Some cats may have trouble going down the stairs. So it's got to be in an accessible place and where no other animal is going to surprise them. Because that's usually a big reason why cats stop using the litter box. Another pet in the home or a child is disturbing them.
Can imagine.
Yeah. So I would try that and if that doesn't, if that doesn't work, then they got to get into the brain of their cat and find out, okay, what emotionally is going on, and then they can start diffusing an oil. Okay. Is there a lot of chaos in the home? What's going on? Because cats know how to get our attention, and that's how they get our attention. So that cat's trying to tell her something, like, hey, pay attention to me. I'm trying to tell you something.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Okay. Wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
yes.
Oh, can you answer my question? So I have a dog that gets frequent ear infections. I was doing Infect Away on the Paws. I'm going to stop now. I haven't been like around the clock doing Infect Away on the paws. But I have been doing tea tree Infect Away on a seedlings wipe to clean out the one ear and then giving her Life 9.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is kind of what we've done with my kids, like getting the gut health right is when I changed that stuff. So I didn't know if you had any other suggestions for that.
Do you think it's helping?
Actually, I do. Yes.
Okay, because the only other thing that I could think to add in is the raindrop.
Okay.
So in the animal desk reference, there's a raindrop recipe. Now on
Yeah.
dogs that are bigger, you can literally one drop down the spine at a time, just put one drop, massage it
Okay.
in. But for smaller dogs and for cats, you take it's like a 4-ounce dropper bottle,
Yeah.
and you put 4 drops of each of the oils. So
Okay.
oregano, basil, peppermint, thyme,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Fill it up with a carrier oil. I mean, it's like 95% carrier oil.
Yeah.
And then from that blend, you put 2 to 3 drops down the spine. That's my go-to
Okay.
when it's like, okay, we're making progress, but not 100%. I just tell everybody, do the raindrop.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'll give that a go.
I'm stunned at how it works. I mean, I've had dogs with seizures no longer seize.
Wow.
I had a cat with hyperesthesia, which is cats who just out of nowhere will just attack you. I had a cat no longer attack after raindrop.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah.
It's always the go-to. If you really cannot figure out the issue, if the vet cannot figure out the issue, just raindrop.
Okay.
Do you put 1 drop of every oil from raindrop in that bottle?
In the 4-ounce bottle, you put 4 drops of each.
Of every oil,
of
all
every
the
oil
raindrop.
in order that they're normally applied, because there's a precision to the order. Once you have them in the bottle, then you put the carrier oil in and mix it up. But that's just for small dogs and cats. So if you have a dog that's 50 pounds or more, you can literally do 1 drop of oregano, massage it down the spine, 1 drop of basil, massage it down the spine. You can do the actual technique.
And
Awesome.
what size container did you say?
4-ounce.
4 ounce. And how much Ninja Red, you said, per serving do you give your cats?
Well, it depends. It depends. Now, Rudy, we're using it for a very specific purpose. So, of one of those syringe dropper things, he gets a half a syringe. So that's, I don't even know how many drops that is. That's probably like a quarter of a teaspoon, I'm guessing, because he's working on maintaining not having bladder stones. For Dobby and Stella, they get like 5 drops because they're just on a proactive, maintenance. If you're dealing with a big dog could take a teaspoon. A horse can drink a cup of it, so it depends on the size, but just start with a little bit and work your way up, but a little goes a long way. I mean, think we drink 2 ounces as maintenance, right? Break that down to the body weight of the animal. All right. Any other here? I'm going to stop sharing that. All right. Any other? I didn't see any other questions. So I don't think I missed any other questions. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just scrolling again. Yep, I don't see any other questions. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we're good.
Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You are so filled with information, and I need to be talking about this more. I think you just hit the nail on the head with, what do I use oils for? Why would I not do that for my animals? And it's always been how I've done that with my kids. And I mean, even just now, I brought my little toy poodle. She's here and she does not like to be picked up. She doesn't like to be held like up high. She doesn't mind sitting on my lap, but like if she can sense she's up high, she shakes, and she was shaking and shaking. And I grabbed stress away and I tried the consent, and then I put it down her spine, and she's comfortably just like been hanging out. And I'm like, all right, little Lacey. Okay, girl. So I love the consent thing because I've always just been nervous, and the tea tree thing shook my world and all the oils. Cause I feel like I've been told since day one, there's certain oils to look out for. Just go do your own research. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Right. Yeah.
But like, for me, that doesn't mean anything because that's just not how I learn. Please tell me the specifics and let me like not mess up. So I feel so good about that. And this was just beyond helpful. So I appreciate it. And thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure, because I want everybody to feel comfortable in using the oils, and there's just a few do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
You know,
well, now I feel even more like, especially with your book, because it's like beyond amazing, but I feel much more confident in speaking about it now, especially because I know, like you said, do you think all these other companies would be allowing us to use it and be branded that we can use oils on our pets if it was going to do something harmful for them? And I was like, oh, hey, major like clicking point in my brain that, so no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and one thing I love to ask people to do is to go into the Young Living website, go to the animal sense section. With each product, look at the individual oils that are in there. You're going to be stunned at some of them.
right.
Like, holy cow, these are hot oils. I mean, these are high phenol. What was Gary thinking? Well, I think we all know Gary was brilliant. He was a mad scientist.
Yes.
He knew what he was doing, and he was right.
And on the surface, it looks crazy, but sometimes the most brilliant people seem crazy because they're thinking outside of the box compared to the norm, which we've noticed and seen. And personally, probably every single one of us on here has felt the difference from what he has created.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, thank you for hanging in there. I know I threw a lot of information at you, but I just want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to feel safe, and you'll be fine. You'll do it right. And now you can share it with other people. You know, you can share it with, with the rest of your group and say, okay, you're okay. And now you can really explain why people who use oils for animals, they are in Young Living. They're not in any other brand. They're in Young Living. All the books that are written about oils for pets are all Young Living people. There's a reason. So anyway, all right, I will get this recording to all of you so that you can go back and review and all that good stuff, and you can share it. You can share it with whoever you want to share it with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Allie. It was wonderful.
Okay, Rudy, any parting words?
Bye, Rudy.
Any parting words? Okay, he says thank you very much.
You all have a lovely evening, and I will chat with some of you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye, Allie.
Bye.